Hey guys and girls, how's it going? And welcome back to another episode of Feed the Beast Resurrection with myself, Lewis. Hope you're brilliant, having yourself a great day. As always, we're back on the Utopia server, and I am hopefully going to be able to set up my EBF today. That's kind of, I'm hoping it's going to work. I've been playing around with it in a test world, trying to find out, good ways to power it. And because we're going down the specifically GregTech route, we're not going to dip into advanced generators, because I think that's a little bit too, it's fine, but I think it's a little bit too easy, if you ask me. We could be running off high voltage for the price of a few iron ingots. It's not, it's not very Greg-like, is it? So we're going to be going with this, and we're going to try and power it with batteries. Now, I've been trying in a test world. Now, I looked on the Feed the Beast wiki, because that's where I've got all the information for this, and it says on there to have 2 inputs going into your EBF, but it also says you're probably best, though, using 3 LV energy hatches, because the power can fluctuate, and if it turns off anytime during its operation, we're going to lose our aluminium. And this is literally what we need. We just need aluminium. So I've got 2 bits of test aluminium, and hopefully we're gonna be able to make it work. Now, this guy hasn't been cheap either, as you can guess, being a multi-block thing. I got most of it. I just need a little bit more copper nickel, but I think it's upstairs. Now, copper nickel is made with 2 times copper nickel wire, which is 1 times, and that's made with copper nickel plates, and that's made of copper nickel, which is, if you look at the induction smelter recipe, is nickel and copper. So I guess you can kind of see that one right there. We also have the heat-proof machine casings, which is made out of a load of Invar plates and Invar rods, and we have all of the muffler hatches, output buses, input LV energy hatches, and all of these are basically your low voltage machine holes, which is a load of steel to get that to happen. So yeah, it hasn't been cheap, but hopefully it's going to allow us to move into the MV range. And I think the first thing I'm going to do is going to be, and I've got 2 options. I either make, because this thing needs 120 volts for it to operate, so we're going to use 3 hatches, and we're basically just going to throw as much power into it as we can and hope for the best. So there's that. But to make an MV hatch, or the MV energy hatch, we need aluminium to be able to do that. So I need to be able to make aluminium ingots to make anything that's medium voltage. So I either make myself an MV hatch off the bat, and then I upvolt my I use a transformer and upvolt everything, or I make a medium voltage machine like a diesel engine or something like that, and then I downscale the power. So it's one or the 2, but for now we're going to be using batteries. I've set up this little low voltage battery buffer here. Now I'm going to be using 9 batteries, and this is going to be a little bit overkill, but we shouldn't have too much of a problem using 9 batteries because it's still only going to be 32. You basically kind of take the volts of the amperage and times them together. That's kind of how it works, but you have to bear in mind that there can be fluctuations in it, especially when you're playing on things like servers. So yeah, that's going to be a thing. So this has been slowly charging with a load of sodium batteries, and I'm going to take this downstairs in a minute. We're going to plug it in. We could wire this straight up. I was going to wire this from here and have it go downstairs, because this is going to be putting out 32 volts at 9 amps, because each battery is going to basically be an amp. So we have 32 volts and 9 amps. Now, I can have this running down there, but you have to bear in mind that for every piece of wire that we connect, we lose some power, because nothing is lossless in GregTech. So that's one thing. Now, we could up the power, so we could turn it from 32 to 128. That's easily, we could do that, but then we'd have to bring it downstairs. It's still going to be a lot easier just to move this guy. Really. But yeah, that's pretty much that. I've also made all of these machines. So we have the bending machines, canning machines, assembly, electrolyzer, smelter or alloy smelter, extruder, and that's still pretty much all running off of this basic steam turbine. So we've been pretty lucky this has managed to accommodate us for this long, but we're getting to the point now where we need to look into better sources of power, and sticking with GregTech does make that slightly difficult. But I've got myself a load of copper nickel wires here. We're going to make a few more of these. I believe I need 16 of the wires, these guys, the coil blocks, for it to go around, so we need another 3 of those. And when you look at this, the electronic blast furnace, the great thing with it is it tells you all of the stuff that you need to know. So not Bast. We want Blast. That's the one. There we go. So you can see we need 16 heating coils, 1 input, 1 output, 1 energy hatch, 1 maintenance hatch, 1 muffler, and a heat-proof machine casing. So yeah, It's going to be a thing. But we need another 3 of these. So let's go and make another 3 of these. and then we're going to start setting it all up, and hopefully it's going to be okay. What do you think of this guy? I love this. We can do a lot of crafting on there and stuff. It's great. So we're going to turn you into that, and we're going to do this. And I have 2. I need just a little bit more. All right, that's fine. Let's get ourselves our wrench and make you. And I need a little bit more copper nickel. So let's get some copper and some nickel wherever you're chilling out. There you are. Cool stuff. And you can go in there. I've also been making steel. Steel's been the main thing on the agenda as well. So hopefully we've got a decent amount of that now as well. But yeah, that go in there. The good thing with this EBF is once we have a really good way of powering it, and I am thinking of switching out the battery. Once I've got this up and running, I know it works. I'm thinking of switching out the battery buffer to have a load of steam turbines going into the battery buffer, and then when I need to use it, because obviously we can turn the machines on and off in GregTech, we know that we've got enough power to have a couple of cycles, which is hopefully going to work, but hey, who knows? I've only tested this a few times, so it's going to be make or break, but here we go. We should get 1 more, and let's pop you inside here. There we go. Each ingot is basically a 2 times, so we're going to need to get ourselves another 4 ingots for that to work for us. Yes. There we go. So we'll do you, and that gives us 6. We need 2 more, and we can make this. My worst, literally, my worst nightmare is that we set this up and something goes horribly wrong and we see an explosion. But I have tested this. I have great faith that this is going to work nicely, kind of, probably, hopefully. We'll only see. But once it does work, I'm going to be over the moon. So let's pop you guys inside here and get these wiring up. Should give us 6, 7, 8. That should be enough, actually. Let's get rid of all of you, because we don't want to make any more than we actually need. So you guys can go in there. And you can give me that. And you. And let's put you in here. Cool, cool. With our wrench. And that gives me the last 3 that I need. Alright, so let's think about how we're going to put this guy together. It's not going to be cheap. But it's hopefully going to work. I think I'm going to need to get myself some more cables as well. So maybe it's going to be worth putting some more tin on go as well. I think we should do that. Let's get ourselves a little bit more tin. And while we're putting this together, we'll get that turned into wires. Because I need loads of tin anyway, so I might as well get that doing its thing. Alright, so first things first, we've got down our electric blast furnace. Now we're going to need to put down all of these hatches and gizmos. So we're going to need a maintenance hatch, we're going to need an output bus, we're going to need an input bus, and we're going to need a muffler hatch, but that's going to go on top, plus our 3 LV energy hatches. So let's get all of you. And first things first, we'll put down our input and output. So our input can go here, our output can go here, and we're going to want our maintenance hatch, which can go, I guess it could kind of go on this side somewhere. We can have it like here. Yeah. We've got our LV energy hatches, which we're going to have along. Kind of thinking I might actually put this on the back. Do I want to put it on the back? Would it be 1, 2, and then... Yeah, it's going to be better to put it on the back, because then that way, if we have it anywhere else, we're going to be wasting a piece of wire, and I'd much rather not be doing that. So we'll have these along here. Like that, yeah. And then we'll put you there. And then we basically fill the rest in with these heat-proof machine casings. Now, I think I might have 1 too many heat-proof machine casings, because I originally had 2 of these LV energy hatches. And in my test world, it was working, but after a prolonged amount of time, it was turning itself off. So it's all good for like 1 cycle, but any longer than that, and you're going to start having your engine, it's going to start flickering. So I decided to, you know, upgrade and spend a little bit more to make sure that we definitely don't lose anything, because the last thing we want is our machine to turn off and then we lose anything that's in there. So if we're in the middle of a function, and this stuff isn't easy to come by the way. Yeah, if we're in the middle of a function and it turns off due to power kind of dipping down below the 120, we're going to have a bit of an issue and we're going to lose aluminium, which I wouldn't be best pleased about. So we're going to do it that way. But let's get all of these guys on this. So we want our copper nickel coils around the top. Oh, if I can get up there. Yep. Cool beans. Making sure that we have an area in the middle that's open. Cool, cool. And we're also going to want to break a hole in the ceiling. Yeah, we're going to need to make sure that we have a hole in the ceiling. Now, which is going to be the best way to do this? Let's go up around this way. Because our muffler hatch needs to be able to see out. And it's kind of around here somewhere. Is it like... I can see it. It's here, I think. Yeah, there it is. Good stuff. Alright. So there's that. And am I stuck inside my thing? That's not great. Alright. There we go. So there's that. And now we need to place down more of these. Because we need a top row of these. So I'll have you like that. Yeah, and I got one spare. I pretty much knew I was going to have one spare. Plus our muffler hatch. You see these have just changed now? Pretty funky, isn't it? Alright, let's go place down our muffler hatch on top. So we'll eat these as well. Have a little baked potato. Cool beans. And now we're going to want to insert this into here. Like that. And that should be great. Let's get you. I'll put you back there. Alrighty then. I'm pretty happy about that. I think it's going to be okay. Yeah, as long as you have like an air block above that. Because that's where all of your dirty, nasty kind of emissions and things are going to go. So we need to make sure that we're energy efficient and whatnot. So let's make these. Now we're going to need ourselves a fairly decent amount of wires. I've already got 12 times. We're going to need 3 if we're going to do this. So first things first, let's turn these into 2 times. And we can turn these back, which is good. So if you get too many, you can always turn it back. So we'll get a load of 4 times. And then we need an 8 times, and a 4 times gives us a 12 times. So it's a little bit tricky, but hey, that's fine. So 8 times, 4 times, 12 times. And each one of these requires 4, I believe, for us to be able to do that. Now, you don't actually have to put the rubber on these wires. Some people I know don't do that, but it is probably kind of within your best interest to do it, because... one thing, it stops you from getting electrocuted, which is great. And it also means you can run them outside, which is even better sometimes, I guess, if you want to do that. It also means that your loss per meter goes down. So once I place some rubber on top of this guy, you'll see that my 2 EU or volt will go down to 1. So we're going to be losing a little bit less. And when we're doing something like this where we're a little bit kind of iffy about the amount that we've got, it's always handy to be able to do that. So let's cook a load of this up. And we're going to want to get about 12, 13 maybe. That's fine by me. And I think it's 4. Yeah, there we go. Good stuff. So 12. And then we'll do this. Cool beans. And you'll see the difference here. So 32, 12 and 1, 32, 12 and 2. So it is best to be covering up your cables. There we go. Good stuff. Now, the reason we're going with 12s is because we're not actually going to be feeding it 12. We're actually going to be feeding it 9, but the one down from this is 8, so I would rather have the additional amp that can go in there and give us that little bit more power than what we would be given anyway. Basically, I just want to chuck as much power into this thing as I can without making it explode. And then just praying, crossing fingers and praying, that's pretty much it. Alright, so we've got 3 of our big cables. We've got our batteries, so let's grab these. And you can get... I don't even know what's going to happen if I leave that in there. Nebson came past earlier and gave me my books so that I can make my way over to the tanker. Because I don't think I told you this yet, but I'm going to be moving all of my Greg stuff over to the oil tanker very soon as getting set up. And that's going to be our main area where we're going to be doing all of the fun electrical gizmo stuff. So I'm pretty excited about that. It does look pretty cool, I must admit. It is looking real fancy, so we'll be moving over there soon. Each tanker, like, it's a big oil tanker, I think, but like each section of it is like something ridiculous, like 25 by 50 something odd blocks. It's unbelievably huge. When you see it, you'll be like, what? And we've basically got little containers each, and Akko's working on the engine and whatnot, and I'm going to be working with all the Greg stuff. It's going to be a load of fun. Alright, so let's grab this. Now, we're going to grab you. We're going to grab my wrench. Hopefully, we're not going to break the wrench. No, we're good. And we're going to go and pop this down here. So, I did my calculations, and I think I should be able to get 2 uses out of these batteries. I think. We'll have to see. Because basically, each one of these aluminium dusts... Now, one thing to bear in mind with the aluminium dust as well is that depending on how much you process it, depends on the amount of power and time it's going to take. So, for a big piece of aluminium dust, it's going to take 85 seconds at 120 EU per tick. And that's going to consume 204,000 EU. Now, these batteries together make a lot more than that. They make something like 450,000. So we should be able to get 2 uses out of this, but I'm not keeping my hopes up on that one. Let me tell you that. Alrighty then. So let's run this. Now we're going to want to have you here and our wires. Cool. And let's put in our batteries, and you should see these go down. Yeah, you see they all just went down a little bit? So some of that's going to go inside the actual battery buffer. A little bit's going to kind of go inside the machine itself. But, you know, that's fine. At least we haven't set the cables alight, which is the main thing. So we're looking all right there. So we have lost a little bit, which kind of makes me question whether we're going to be able to get 2 uses out of it. I'm going to try, because I have got some spare aluminium. So I'm not too fussed if I lose like 1 piece. But we are going to give it a go. Now, the other thing that we need to do, if we have a look inside here, is that we need to basically play around with this and change the these. So we need to change the maintenance hatches so that we can add all the bits to it. So you basically like kind of hit it with that, and then you throw like a wrench in there and things. And as we do that, these are going to kind of disappear, which is great. So we need like the screws, platings, and things like that. So let's get all the rest of our stuff. So we're going to want to use probably let's use a saw. Just throw everything in there. Saw, file, screwdriver, crowbar. What else can we use? We have a hammer. Let's throw that in there. Why not? See how this does for us. So we'll have a little bit of a bit of this. Now you can use duct tape on this, and it basically sorts it out for you, but I don't think we're going to be doing that. So there we go. And circuitry burned out. We're going to need something for circuitry as well. What am I missing? Is it going to be cutters? I really hope it's not, because I haven't actually got any regular cutters. Let's give it a go. No. Looks like I'm going to need that. Alright, I'm going to make some of those, and we'll be right back. Alright, so it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to fix this one just yet, which kind of sucks. It looks like the soldering iron, which is needed to be able to fix that, isn't actually in Feed the Beast Resurrection yet, so there is no way of fixing that one except using duct tape, or as it likes to be called, BrainTech Aerospace Advanced Reinforced Duct Tape FAL-84. If you can't fix it with this, use more of it. That is pretty much what we need, and if we use that, it will fix everything in the machine, so we don't have to put any items in there or anything like that. It'll just do the whole lot. The only problem is I haven't got all the stuff to make that at the minute. I need some raw carbon meshes. I got the rubber sheets and whatnot. I've got the assembler. I don't have the glue. I don't have the centrifuge. So we're gonna try it with it there. Now, I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage that the soldering iron isn't in the pack, which kind of sucks, but it's going to run with a minus 10% efficiency, so it's not going to run at full efficiency, but we are giving it the additional juice, so I hope that that's going to counteract it. That means we're probably only going to try 1 piece of aluminium until I can get the stuff together to make the GregTech bits and bobs, but yeah, so we've got all of this in here. I think we're ready to give it a try. I'm scared. I hope you're scared as well. So we're going to put that in the input bus. And we're going to give it a slap with our soft hammer. Hide! Is it working? It's taking power. It's not blowing up. The red light is staying on. This is amazing. Generally, if you use the 2 inputs, the red light would kind of go out around about now. So yeah, it looks like it's doing stuff. Now it does say that it takes how long? It takes 85 seconds, so it takes 1 minute and 25 seconds. Alright, so we just had a crash. Like, I I don't know, it does this on Resurrection now and then for some unknown reason. It's only Resurrection, but my whole Java will just close. Like, it won't even go back to the FTB thing. It won't kick me back to the main screen. Just everything closes. I have no idea why it does that, but I am super hoping that my machine is still running. Please. Please still be running. Oh my god. Oh, that looked weird. It looks like it's still green, which is a start, and it went red. Does that mean it's... Oh my lord, it's finished. Yes, we done it. And we have 1,000. Do you think we could get away with one more? Do you think that's properly pushing our luck? You know, it could have power stored in it, or that could be because of the additional 10% on there. If it's 210% each time, then the 10% of that is 21, so it would be 230 something. So 230 would be 5. Yeah, that's actually going to take us over the amount that we can process. So I'm glad that I did the math and didn't put that in there, otherwise we would have just lost ourselves a piece of aluminium dust. But hey, it works. We can make aluminium, which is great. I'm glad that my overcompensation to make these function is great. I can now start mass producing myself some aluminium. Now, we don't have to use aluminium either. We can actually use a lot of the gems in GregTech can be used to get aluminium, which is great. If we have a look at the recipe on here and we go to blast furnace, that went on the wrong thing, didn't it? Yeah, I want to look at the aluminium, or the aluminium dust recipes. If we have a look around here, centrifuge, no. Canning machine, rock crusher. It's not going to bring it up now, is it? It's going to be a right pain in the butt. Yeah, well, things like emeralds, gems, any of these will be able to give us stuff like that. Like the green sapphires are pretty good, I believe. If we have a look at the blast furnace, yeah. For 16 seconds, so instead of the huge amount we had to wait, that will give us 3 aluminium nuggets, which is pretty good. You know, every 3 green sapphires will take less power and less time than it would to make a regular aluminium nugget, and we'll also get a tiny pile of dark ashes in the anyway. So that's pretty good, isn't it? We'll be able to make aluminium that way. We'll be able to get more of the ingots and things, which is great. So I'm probably going to spend some time doing all of that, and I might move some power around so I don't have to keep transferring my batteries around, but you know, I don't mind kind of moving them back and forth now and then. If I get myself some duct tape, and that only means I have to make a centrifuge, you know, it's not the end of the world. I'll make a centrifuge, and then I'll pop it up here, and then we can get rid of the additional 10% kind of, the additional 10% that we have to pay to be able to run the machine, which kind of sucks because we can't actually make a it's making me pay for something I can't fix. Well, I guess I can fix it with that, but it'd be kind of handy if we did have the soldering iron in the pack. I went onto the FTB wiki and it just says it's meant to be in there, but it's not. Well, it doesn't say that, but it's kind of like that. But yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to get a centrifuge, get some duct tape, and then I can get rid of that, so I'll be running at full efficiency. And I'm probably going to move some turbines around, do it that way. But next time we see any of the Greg stuff, we're probably going to be on the tanker, which is going to be super cool. I'm going to be moving all my stuff over within the next day or two. The last thing I wanted to do before starting to move over to the tanker was get this guy up and running and make sure it all worked. And now that I've done that, I'm going to make my way over there. We're going to start setting up, and you're going to be impressed. Like, it looks the bomb. Like, Akko and Nemson have been doing some real work, so I am super excited to be getting all my bits and bobs over there. Alright guys, well that's going to be it for today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. We made ourselves the electronic blast furnace. We've powered it and whatnot. It's not done the best. You can obviously do better ways than this. If you don't mind not using just GregTech, I would say your best bet is probably just to use advanced generators, I think it's called, or something generators, because that's like stupidly cheap. And you can make an absolute killing from it for power, like stupid amounts of power. Like the main block itself, all it needs is a little bit of iron redstone and some sticks. And then you can output high voltage, step it down into a transformer, and boom, you've got it powered. So yeah, that's one thing. So I'm probably not going to be using that because I think that's a little bit too cheaty for my likings. But if you don't mind using it, then I would suggest doing that, because you wouldn't have to go through all this hassle then. You could just plug it in and off you go. But yeah, have yourself a great day. Have a good one, as always, and bye-bye.